right? That you have a lot of these supportive spells and not much to fall back on. You don't have a lot of these comeback mechanisms. Like some other Trog decks like Libra Paladin may have, where they have this, hugely powerful mid and late game potential. So we'll see. That hand right there for Gaby, not that great. Maybe see a Demon Companion keep, but against Mizaki Mage, I think you're going for gold.
And Tianming trusting his deck. Doesn't want any of that early Mizaki business. Going to wait and draw that somewhere. Turn 5 or 6-ish after he's dealt with all the stuff that Gaby's going to try and throw at him from turn 1 right out of the gates. And the Hunter's very good at that against the Mage. Even though the Mage has plenty of removal, it needs those cards to power up the Mizaki. So every time its hand size gets smaller, the Mizaki gets a little tiny bit less menacing. And all the time that hero power is just plugging away, trying to finish you off. Okay. So fairly normal start. Thing gets played.
Oh.
The Trog!
Yeah, he's going to wait for some payoff, though, first.
Uh-huh. One of the things that happens a lot with Trog, especially in the Paladin deck, you don't always have to just jam it on one, except in the mirror, where you always jam it on one.
Yep.
I think to go with the Trog.
This is a little bit awkward. Yeah, it looks like it's just going to go for the Warsong Wrangler. Rhino doesn't fit the curve.
Yeah, it also doesn't really have many targets, so it is just going to be a monstrous 7/6 that has to sit around for a turn waiting to do something.
Yeah. We'll see. I kind of like, the value of fitting in hero powers, right? But maybe he's not too concerned about that.
His curve is quite cluttered the next few turns. He's got plenty of things he can do without having more things to worry about. So just hoping to get a little bit of extra damage out of something a bit bigger. It's quite hard for the Mage with no fireballs to deal with a large Rhino. So it does make some sense.
Damage!
Yay!
Yay!
Just keep hitting them.
All right, so Tianming can get some. No, he can't actually.
You can get siphon value if he siphons his own minion.
He doesn't have to.
So he can just flame the 3/4 and do it that way, I guess.
Yep.
That seems much more sensible. And going to be clearing up this immediate board. The problem with leaving his own minion up is the Rhino then has a nice old target to go for. Yeah, I think this is better.
Oh yeah, killing off your own thing. But he could have killed off his own thing many different ways, right? He could have gone second flame, and then there is value in holding on to as many spells as possible, though.
Absolutely. I mean, if he's going to win the game, he's going to need to have at least some stuff in his hand. Here's the doggy biscuit. I didn't know that Trogs ate doggy biscuits until you pointed it out, but they certainly love them.
Until I pointed it out? Well, some kind of...
I mean...
Every Hearthstone minion loves a good doggy biscuit, let's just say that.
That's weird, right? I mean, you have mentioned...
I'm pretty sure I told you the story of how, about how... my sister and I, when we were little, used to try dog biscuits.
I think you told Derek, actually. I think that was at the Invitational.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think I was a little bit delirious by that point, and you were talking to Derek about, or maybe even Gia, about feeding doggy biscuits to yourself.
You could have just said eating doggy biscuits, but feeding doggy biscuits to yourself just has like a better ring to it.
I mean, anyone who's seen you cast, TJ, will know that there's been no ill effects from that experiment whatsoever.
Yep. Sure did.
Tianming, down to 19, does have the the barrier in place, though, so has a little bit of time.
Yeah. So This is probably a... is it a pinged evolving missiles? Oh.
Yeah, it looks like he's going for it. He is playing, just to point out now, the version with very few minions of this mage, so if he does pick up a flow pretty soon, he's in a good place for that spring water, but he may need to, yeah, there we go, spring water to pick up the flow.
Well, right
Gaby
now,
is jamming, he's feeling it.
Yeah, he even put on a beanie. Okay, yep, straight up damage. So the game of attacking face is over. So let's see, he's got 6 from hand and then hero power. The next turn has 8. Aim shot would be 10 total. So if he's able to pick up an aim shot, he's got lethal over 2 turns. Tianming at this point is effectively a Mizaki away from game over.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's something that we do need to make sure we keep our eyes on. At this point, yeah, dump a cram session. You never have the hand space to go for 2 cram sessions, so might as well just try and cycle and find the Mizaki as quickly as possible.
Yep. So they're both relying on picking up the right card to win the game. Obviously, Gaby has multiple ways of doing that, or multiple cards to do it. He also has 2 turns, and he just wins. Tianming, down to 10 cards, needs that Mizaki, and that is pretty much all. He will have ways to look for it if he can find maybe a Blood Mage here, which he does not
Guild
get.
Trader?
Guild Trader's better than nothing. Needs to draw cards somehow. Doesn't want to put a minion in play that stays in play.
He's going to use the Guild Trader to draw with cram session. Okay.
Yeah, we may see.
Oh, he's going to go now? Oh my gosh, so much time has passed.
He's got to go, but he's got so much going on. Oh, he's played the spring.
Oh, he hit the multicaster. Oh no! Disaster! Now he can't play the Mizaki. He can, but then he has to use the Mana Biscuit, and then there's no way he gets there.
He's dead to Rhino now. He's got to blow that up as well.
He was thinking he would be able to have lethal that time.
Right, yeah.
Or that turn. Which if he was able to reset his mana, it was certainly possible. But
he'll go next turn. If he has a next turn. Which he doesn't! Gaby picks up the aim shot and takes down. Wow! Tianming not only loses the game, but is going to be furious at himself for that mistake.
Yeah, that was... I mean... without spring water, right? Does he have enough? Is the big question, and I don't know. He would have.
Did he have the cram session? If he had the cram session, he had enough, but I don't know if he had it. There's so many cards in the hand.
He had a cram session, yes, but at the very end of that, he had 6 mana. He could have played Mizaki and then used the other Mana Biscuit. Mm-hmm. So he would have had 3 extra mana. So he would have had 3 mana to kill. With hot streaks. It's hard. It's really hard to say. From 30? Yeah.
3 spells at face. Probably need to be reduced. And without having a moment or two to actually look over all that, it's difficult to know. But there was no flurry target either because he shot the Wolpertinger the turn before.
Yeah.
So Gaby taking it down, and I think... I don't know if Tianming had it or not there, but also shooting the Wolpertinger is actually kind of an interesting move, looking back on it as well.
Yeah, because it's not... well, it plays around piercing shot.
Okay,
second
sure.
piercing shot.
I thought he used both. Yes, correct.
Yeah, so that's something. It takes out an out, but it
no, you're right.
Gets rid of an out for you, right? Maybe you need that extra damage. It's a tough situation, but regardless, like that last turn, with multicaster in deck, the spring water should have never happened, right? Especially with not that many cards left to go through. So moving on, though, we're going to get to see this Bolner OTK Shaman come out from Tianming. This one has a couple of glaring weaknesses, but I actually do think it lines up reasonably against Gaby's lineup. Face Hunter is a little bit difficult, but against both Face Hunter and the Garrote Rogue. Garrote Rogue, you have the ability, you normally don't OTK. Instead, what I found to be most successful is you use the Armor Vendor with Bolner to get out of range of their damage breakpoints. You can gain a ton of armor on any individual turn by just holding on to, a couple battle cries, playing Armor Vendor, Bolner, and then, if you play a Macaw in that turn, right, you get the initial armor from the Armor Vendor. You play Macaw, which gives you the Armor Vendor, and it's also a Battle Cry, which gives you another Armor Vendor. So you can gain a ton of armor with that method, and sometimes get out of range of Garrote Rogue, especially if they've used spell damage early, right? It's not linear because you can't always get out of range. You don't always have enough battle cries. You don't always have the luxury of being able to hold on to those battle cries. But I found it to be a pretty reliable strategy in the matchup. But Gaby's going to go with the Owl Warlock.
Big Hoot Warlock.
Yeah, because it's a big hoot.
Yeah, and it's a Warlock.
In multiple ways. It's fun, and there's a big owl in it. The biggest owl, actually.
The humongousest owl that you can possibly get. It's absolutely large, is that owl. And does a lot of damage. It doesn't just do 8, it does it is the cause of near infinite damage in this deck. 64 or something. So get that going. It was really popular days 1 and 2 after release. It's still played a lot now. It's still a very strong deck, of course, but I think it's waned a little bit in popularity. Mainly because we talk about the slowest of the combo decks. It's up there in the slower end of the combo decks right now.
Yeah. The biggest part is, it relies on a few things, right? It relies on, you playing an owl and getting into that death rattle pool and then executing on the combo.
Oh my goodness.
That is a hand, though. That is whoo.
Is that a hoot? Were you hooting? There you go. Yes, you were. And this is important for Gaby. Obviously, every game's important. We always say this in a roundabout way, but this is kind of the one the Warlock has to get through. Otherwise, it's got to find a way to beat the Rogue or the Mage, both of which it doesn't enjoy too much. So Gaby winning this game, not only would it give him the obvious lead of 2-0, but it gets this slightly weak Warlock out of the way, so he can get on with winning with his better decks.
Yep. He's got the start to do it right.
Oh yes, he has.
One thing to note is Tianming does have a Rush Rot Viper in this list, so could be looking at a situation where that's relevant for Rude Mythal Rod. The discounts are incredibly important.
Mm-hmm. He's also sitting on the Mutinous, which
correct.
buy him some time at the very least, and in a great situation could even win him the game if he just eats the right thing at the right moment.
Yep.
Lots of card draw here if Gaby wants it. I think he probably does, because his deck is all about drawing cards as quickly as possible. So there, that's what he's going to do.
It has Rod into Backfire to follow it up, though the Viper is there. I wonder if Gaby's going to expect it.
So if you do expect it, what do you do? Is there any way you can't really play around it? If it's there, right?
Yes.
You just have to hope that it's not there. Even if you think it might be, I think you've just got to play this and hope for the best. He's still got an awful lot of card draw. It's okay, he says. Right. It's only a Viper.
Yeah, Tianming's not progressing his game plan, I guess. Ooh. Well, do you want to play it this turn, though? Because if you play it this turn, Tianming could just Macaw.
Good point. Well made, and Gaby manages to dodge that potential problem. He's under no immediate pressure, so absolutely fine.
Yeah.
What you're going to do, freeze my board with the Macaw when I play the Snow Person?
Yeah, as soon as Tianming plays another Battle Cry, I think that's the signal to go. Oh, he hits the armor vendor. I mean, that's the only minion in the hand. But it's just so funny that that's the only minion in the hand, because there's some big ones, right? Owl being the number one.
Youngest one.
Yeah, you can't miss it. It's an owl. It's huge.
The owls are just not what they seem, TJ. They're not what they seem at all. All right. He's cleared up the board. He's still on 34. He's got card draw in hand. He's got the weapon lined up. He's down to only 14 cards. Tianming's going to have to make something good happen here.
I mean, better than the armor vendor, right?
Yeah, I guess. But it's on a smaller initial body, so it ends up exactly the same.
That's weird.
What's weird? I guess, yeah.
That it's like exactly the same size.
Yeah. All right. Tam's in, drawing, making 3/3s, advancing, whatever you want to call the weapon. I just call everything a quest these days, it's easier.
Yep.
And Tianming still hasn't really landed a threat. Oh, there's a 6/4, woo. That's just not enough.
Well, okay, so Talon picked up, and Lightning Bloom picked up. So this Talon will pick up the Yashraj, and then Tianming just needs to cast a medic, and then draw Bolner, and he's got the infinite OTK on 10.
That is something about this deck, though. It quite often leaves you in the spot where I just need this one card, because it is pretty difficult to just draw all of it.
Yeah.
You know, you're allowed for one of those combo pieces to be lying in the bottom 3 or 4 cards. It's just numbers.
Yeah. Huh. So I think I wanted to attack with the Talon, Wind Chill. Or no, attack with the Talon, cage match, because I think he still has a Gabble left.
Okay.
And Wind Chill, the Talon, and then Circus Medic, the Talon.
Oh, you're going to make progress rapidly that way.
Or I would have Circus Medic first.
So you don't draw the Yashraj.
Yeah, because damage to face here, it really doesn't matter, right? Gaby's healthy enough, and he's going to be healthy enough to survive this damage. All it's about is finding the Yashraj to get the infinite damage. So...
Gaby's down to 8 cards. I don't know how many of those are
that's it.
Cards as well.
No, that's it. That's game. Right?
Have we seen an owl?
Yeah.
And
the owl last turn and
it's game.
Reward it. Yeah. And then owl, and then phylactery. School spirits. School spirits.
2-0. Or 2-0 next turn, I guess. No, it is now. Okay, cool. I thought I saw him draw a card, but that's from the Death Rattle, from the Yashraj.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. That's so rapid for Gaby, and again, Tianming still hasn't really had time to recover from that mistake he made in the first game, or potential mistake he made in the first game. So Gaby is feeling it, and that's not what you want to be up against. You want Gaby to be somehow beaten into submission and looking down and sad, but he is not that. He's feeling it. He's got Demon Hunter remaining. It's a fantastic spot to be in, because Tianming still has the Rogue left, which is just not fun. We've seen it already against Demon Hunter. Even if it's just the one deck, it's no fun, and there's 2 other matchups before that, most likely. What if Tianming still wants to meet Gaby after this, when he sees this come back? Sees how Gaby's treating him?
Yeah. It's good he can't see him, and if he loses this, he won't be able to get his revenge because he'll be eliminated from the tournament. That's rough.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it's that can be a tough matchup for the Bolner OTK Shaman, because you do usually go slower, right? You know, your infinite OTK at the earliest is turn 8, and that is very difficult to do because you have to have played a corrupted dunk tank and a corrupted circus medic, and then you need to also have double bloom, Bolner, and Yashraj in your hand. All that has to happen by turn 8 in order for you to get that combo. So,
or you can Viper their weapon and then not top deck another weapon the turn after, and buy yourself some time that way.
Yeah, or you mutinous the owl, right?
Yep.
Or Tamsin in some cases, right? They can still win without Tamsin, but it's a little bit more difficult because their damage is limited because they can only get the one phylactery off. But yeah, that's what it's limited to. So you can go fast, but it's a little bit more difficult because a lot of your cards are useless. You're talking about Wind Chill, Snowfall Guardian. Sure, they can be reasonably big threats, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not about the board for the Warlock at all.
DJ, I am looking at Tianming's lineup here, and I'm trying to play find the favourable. Let's say he wants to queue the favourable matchup first. Where does he start? Because I'm not seeing it. Shaman's probably his best bet to start off with. Yeah, that face is the face that I internally processed before I asked the question, because that's how I felt too.
I'd probably say Mage.
Okay, I can buy that. I can buy that. He agrees.
Now.
But then Glide,
But then Glide.
I don't know, it's just...
This is a rough spot. This is just we're waiting for the rogue. This is Tianming fighting uphill right the way through the next 3 games. Okay, that's a good way to try and start it, though. Double flow in the opener.
Yeah. The Rogue ban, I suppose, makes sense with his overall lineup, but I feel like he has more good matchups against the Rogue than... I don't know. That's a tough situation to be in.
Yeah, he could have taken the chance, right? So if he leaves the Rogue up and cues his own Demon Hunter into it, for instance, but he knew that was getting banned, most likely.
Yeah, with Demon Hunter getting banned, it makes sense, because then Shaman becomes slightly better if you leave Rogue up, but Shaman is just ultimately pretty weak regardless against the lineup from Gaby, so...
Yeah, I think this one went down with the ban phase that it was quite likely, very likely in fact, that the Demon Hunter would be banned, so he has that information to work with. There was no real mind games that Gaby could play there, the way his lineup is built. Yeah. So Tianming did have that information to ban the Rogue out because he's lost his one pretty good favourable then.
Yeah.
There's the Glide. Puts a minion in the deck if he does it now.
Yeah, but is that like a huge deal?
It shuts down the Spring Waters, and your opponent's only got 4 cards. It's reasonable. Not huge. How good is Gaby's hand right now? I think he's just thinking of maybe Immolation or get rid of it out of it and then Glide.
Job's done.
Just clear that from the deck.
Yeah.
You see, he wasn't sure about that one. Gaby likes to let us know what he thinks of his own play. Which is nice.
Terrible hand back. Like, at least he has a tradable, but I mean, that's about the highlight of it. Whereas Tianming is sort of back to even, right? It's annoying that he now has the Egwin in deck, but ooh, okay.
I wonder if he's got no card draw at all in hand, so I wonder if he takes Evocation here is like a desperate measure for next turn. Or even for this turn. Try and find himself some card draw, because you only need 1 and you're going to get 8 shots at it or 6 shots at it anyway. Another Glide turns up to tease Gaby here because his hand is terrible. Yep.
Sure. He's still got another one, right?
There's now an Evocation in Tianming's deck in the middle of the combo.
Yep. That's awkward.
Yeah, just a bit.
And Gaby's just going so fast, right? Like, Kirchhoff's already played. Tianming really hasn't made much progress. Multicaster picked up, though. Played Arcane. Is that it? Okay,
yeah,
he's got an ice barrier.
He's fine.
Magic? Yeah, I've heard of it.
But now Gaby's just got straightforward. Next turn, he's got acrobatics in hand. He's going to get this trade as well. Oh, even more cards next turn. Yeah, we don't care. Gain 7 health, not bothered. Advance my card draw.
All right.
We both go quiet every time Tianming draws because Mizaki Mage can just win. From this point onwards, sometimes it just wins the game.
Like, yeah, I think like a cram session picked up, and then like he's good, right?
Yeah. But I think Gaby is still probably favoured from this spot. He's just got everything set up nicely. But Tianming can just win at any point.
Yep.
Trying to lower the number of cards he needs or the number of Mizaki-ings he needs to do. Gets the cram session. That's a lot for next turn. Doesn't have a biscuit set up. That could be an issue. This is a lot of damage. Gaby needs to deal with this board next turn and possibly even heal, which he should be able to do. He's got a very good chance of doing.
He's going to channel the power of the beanie. My brain is in here.
But just in the beanie, like not even in his head, just between his head and the beanie. This is where he keeps it.
Yeah. His brain is just too big for his head, so he has to open it up and put a beanie over it to cover it, keep it safe.
Okay.
I-beam, at least that's some form of healing.
I see.
All right, keep going.
Find a fell scream, that's a better form of healing. Quite clear that Tianming is, inserting damage because he needs to, so Gaby will take that hint and get as much healing as he can.
Yep.
And removing all that spell damage is going to severely damage that cram session as well. It looked like a really good card, now it's just mediocre. But the Arcane Intellect and Evocation.
Evocation! Mizaki will come preloaded with +2 spell damage. I believe that's the last minion left in the deck. Because the Aegwin.
Yep.
Oh, he is. I mean, he's jamming. This has transcended the Gab jam. This is a Gabriel jamming. It's the full version.
I've heard of it.
And he should, if he can, put his hands on the mouse for a moment at some point, be able to win next turn in a lot of situations. Only 8 cards left in the deck. The tournament favourite looking really strong here as we watch Tianming pick apart the board. Did pick up the Mizaki in the middle of all that jamming, but not going to be able to do it this turn. So Gaby needs to win right now, and he'll know that's likely the case too.
Yeah.
Just dumping that evocation. He's got enough if he gets a turn to do it with. Almost there.
Very close.
Stelina. No, he's just going to try and win. Stelina was the option to take out any potential Mizakis, but he's just going to try and win the game instead. Makes sense to me.
Pleasure doing business.
You've not found that second fell scream?
Okay, he's just gonna glide. Still not out of the woods yet, though, right? Like,
absolutely not. But
This is a 5-card hand from Tianming, so just come right back.
Skull in his deck, and he's picked up double jump for Gaby, though.
Another happy guilty.
Grows short.
Yeah, double jump would
now
find that,
if
I
he picks up
think.
Mizaki, he doesn't want to. If he picks up Mizaki, he wants to put it back and get something else.
Yeah. These glides have been absolutely brutal for Tianming this game. There's Mizaki!
Yep, put it back.
Don't want it.
Get something else.
Put it back. It's perfectly within the rules. Just get your mouse, just put it back in your deck.
Wait a second. Can he just play it? No, there's still an I-beam left.
Okay, so the next question is, even though that's a possibility and a threat, should he just play it anyway?
Ooh.
Who's ready for a little show?
Yes.
See what I mean? He's kind of, yeah, because he did it. That is the right answer. But yeah, he's
Because if he like has to spell power I-beam, Gaby's used a lot of his spell power.
There's the skull he put in his deck. That was the thing he did last turn to set up for this possibility.
Pleasure doing business.
Now, there's the Fell Screen Blast. All right.
Pleasure doing business.
That's Tianming. You can tell by his face, he knows that this one's not going to go his way. One of the tournament favourites, the tournament favourite, I think, in most people's eyes, Gaby is going to get to tomorrow. He's still got a lot of work to do. He's going to have to win 3 matches tomorrow. And sadly, we are going to lose Tianming, who just didn't get the best of it today. I think he might have struggled right from the selection of decks phase in this tournament, unfortunately for him. But I think we might see more of this young man next year. Just got a feeling he seems to be incredibly well respected amongst his peers.
Yeah, and he had a promising year, and 7th Age still goes away with $25,000. So not a bad payout for qualifying to the World Championship, and that's an impressive feat in and of itself. But I think this is in a lot of ways how many of the fans and even the casters thought that Gaby's matches would go, right? Jamming the whole way. Decisive plays and pretty quick series that tend to go in his favor more times than not.
Yep, there wasn't a lot in that one to talk about really, but there was that play where he picked up the skull, gave himself a really good glide. So many ways to find that skull. And his other card draw, he was a little bit low on card draw left, so doing that made it work. And that tomorrow, TJ, is going to be one heck of a match. Now Gidan, who's definitely at the top of his game. We wondered if the month off would have just made him exponentially better, and he seems to be rocking it in this tournament. And Gaby, the favourite for the tournament. I'm not even going to word it any other way anymore. He was the favourite for the tournament, but Glory might